Okay, good morning, guys, girls. Welcome to week 6. Can you believe it? You guys have survived 6 weeks of the Masterclass, the mindset group. So super, super thankful for all of you for popping on, for learning, for being in growth mode. I think it says a lot about your commitment to Plexus, your commitment to your own success, that you have committed to these. And there are such great conversations going in the thread. I've enjoyed listening and learning right along with you guys, and just hearing your hearts on things, your vulnerability. I so appreciate all those things. So I'm just going to kind of recap a little bit and then share a few things that have been on my mind, and then we'll just open it up for you guys to share what you're learning, the things that you've learned the past 6 weeks, maybe something that has been highly valuable that you've gleaned from this. If you guys want to take a second, if you're able to, put a win in the comments. It'd be awesome. I think it's a great accountability little tool that we do every week. So go ahead and share that in the comments. There's something I was thinking last night I should put on my notes. Okay, maybe it'll come back to me. I just wanted to remind us that Plexus is running this business is so much mindset. I didn't really even see that in the beginning. I think because I was so focused on honing on my skill set. But looking back, like my mindset was there. Like in the first year, I was pumped. I was excited. Like I kept that passion high, and I feel like I still do. But in the beginning, I was kind of running off of pure excitement and passion, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I was willing to try anything and do it badly, even if that meant, videos that were embarrassing and all the things. So I would say this is 80 to 90% mindset, 10 to 20% skill set. And if you feel like you're still working on the skill set, that's great. Totally fine to be still working on your skill set as you work on your mindset. There was a point in my business where I stalled out and kind of plateaued, and that was indication to me that I needed to do some personal growth and that I needed to reassess my why. So if you come to a point in your business where you kind of feel like you stagnate or your points even just plateau, just keep in mind that it's probably a signal that you need to lift your leadership lid, that you need to go back and work on some mindset things. Or that you need to help your team do those things, okay? Sometimes we forget to communicate the things we're doing and filter those down to our team. So, okay, I wanted to recap what we've been discussing the past 6 weeks. I should have kept probably better notes. But the first week was about clarity. The more we have clarity, the more we know what we want, the easier it's going to be to achieve those things, right? We talked about the cloud. What we say, what we think forms an environment in which our business grows. And so it is so important that we're speaking truth, that we're speaking life, that we're life-giving to the people around us. And also, the words that we speak have impact. The thoughts we think have impact. And so sometimes, I don't know, I know for me, I didn't realize how much head trash I had and how much negativity I had in my life until I started Plexus and started evaluating those things. And the thoughts like, oh, this is, so-and-so can be successful, but these are the reasons why I can't be successful. All those things that like kind of go around in your brain, or at least they went around in my brain. I had a shift. I had to change those thoughts. And actually, after I learned more, I started to see like, you know what, those people are regular people like me. There's no reason why I can't be successful too, if I'm willing to do the work. And I really feel like it's encouraging that you don't necessarily have to have the skill set or even the mindset at first, but if you're willing to work on it and you're willing to be consistent every single day, you'll be successful. So let that be encouraging to you. At least it was for me, because I'm like, well, if that's what it takes, I can be consistent and I can grow my mindset and I can grow my skill set. So we also talked about scarcity and abundance and what those mean. So operating from scarcity, using words like I'm not enough, I'm overwhelmed, frustrated, those things, versus an abundance mindset where we are in growth mode, we're speaking life, we are operating from a point of gratitude and thankfulness and joy. That creates, we kind of talked about this, how it creates different types of energy, like the difference between operating at a high frequency versus like a low frequency. We talked about being victims versus overcomers and the difference of that. I think my dad's coming in. Maybe not. My dad might be coming in. I'm in the kitchen since my kids are sleeping. And then we talked about fear. And this is a big part of what Mel's been talking about with the people she's counseling, is that, having an awareness of how it starts in our body. At first, it's a physical response. And so basically, if we have an awareness of what our fears are, and then we can address them. It's like once we bring it to the light, it's in the light, and the light exposes so much, and it really exposes how itty bitty our fears are, but to us, they look like the big scary monsters. We also talked about the business builder block. So, for me, I had a block. I wasn't sure how to talk about the business. I didn't come into Plexus for a business. It was, I shouldn't say accidental, because once I caught the vision, I was sharing with people and I was helping them go silver, things like that. But to wrap my brain around the fact that it's okay to have a business, the world operates on a business, it's okay to get paid for services you offer, things like that. And just, it was just a growth in mindset for me. But I think I'm not alone in the fact that a lot of us come into Plexus for supplements, and then as we start to share, we gain a vision and we make some money, and we're like, oh, well, what would happen? What if this could be my pathway out of debt? What if this could be residual income for our family? What if this could be more than just fun money? What if this could be some retirement cash? You start thinking bigger. We talked about affirmations and afformations. It's kind of a spin off of the cloud, in light of what we're talking to ourselves about. So I would say affirmations and afformations are simply intentional ways of thinking and making sure that you're saying and repeating those things every day, because some of us really struggle with our mindset. And so we have to take every thought captive. It's just like the Bible says, take every thought captive to obedience of Christ, because it's easy to think things that are untrue about ourselves. It's easy to put, lids on our own potential by what we say. So just an awareness of those things. So the difference between an affirmation and afformation is basically, one is a statement and one is a question. The affirmation would be like, why are so many people coming to me to order? It's forming a question in your mind that your subconscious mind actually starts to answer. So it's kind of interesting. If you haven't read The Secret Code of Success by Noah St. John, is it Noah St. John? Secret Code of Success, he talks about the difference between those things. And then we talked about goal setting last week. I'm sure I'm missing some things that we've chatted about, but I did want to share a story. So this past weekend, I was at the memorial service for a sweet friend of mine, Gretchen, who's also a senior Ruby on our team. And her dad and her brothers got up and shared during the memorial service and just talked about her mom. She was a lady that was so joyful, so exuberant about life, and she loved so well. Like, that's what I gleaned. And Justin, we were driving home, and he's like, Jerry raised warriors. He's like, those guys were up there, praising their mom, and she had just passed away, and they're able to emotionally be that strong to share. And one thing that really struck me is that one of her sons read a scripture out of 2 Corinthians. And it said, the point is this: whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, but whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. And I just thought that was such a beautiful scripture. I know I've talked about it before, like the law of sowing and reaping. When I actually looked at the verse, and it was talking about the difference between, it's really abundance versus scarcity. Someone that sows sparingly versus someone that sows bountifully. And they were they were saying how she was someone that sowed bountifully. And it doesn't, I mean, this in the context of this scripture is talking about giving, but there's lots of different ways you can give. It doesn't necessarily just mean financially, but sowing bountifully in love, joy, even just in terms of business, it applies the fact that how much you invest your time, your efforts, your daily IPA. It's a law. If you sow bountifully, you're going to reap bountifully. If you plant a lot of seeds, you're going to reap a big harvest. And the same goes for sowing sparingly. And I was just thinking how every day we're making deposits. We're making deposits into other people's lives. We're making deposits in our own personal IPA, all the things. It's a law. What we sow, we're going to reap. And it's all going to come out in the wash. So if we've been diligent in 90 days, we're going to see the fruits of that diligence. And that means you're going to be earning Leaders Retreat, right? I think it also applies to love. If we're sowing in love, we're investing in relationships, and just even sowing acts of kindness for people, and kind of having an outward focus, of an abundance focus of serving other people, loving other people, adding value to them. So it's just something that I've been thinking about the past couple of days that I thought I'd share with you. But I did want to commission you all to implement. We've been talking a lot about mindset, and mindset feeds into success. It feeds into all the things, but I want to give you permission to take what we've learned and apply it with urgency. The faster you act, the more successful you're going to be. So you're like, okay, I'm realizing that I'm avoiding XYZ. Okay, videos. I don't make videos. Okay, well, this week I'm making 2 videos or 3 videos, whatever. I mean, if you've done it once, do it again. I know some of you are doing that, and you've made your videos, which is awesome. Do it again, because the more you do it, the less it's going to be scary, and the more value and the more personal you're going to be to people. People aren't going to see you as just a one-sided person sending out info. You're going to be a 3-dimensional, emotional, lovable person that people want to get to know, right? Also, I wanted to hone in on the fact that events are so, so crucial. Helping people go silver is the number one name of this game. And also personally sponsoring. So those 2 things, just do it. We have the Happy Half Hour coming up on Thursday. Kathleen Hartman is a new Ruby on our team, and her team is hosting that. We have the 21-day challenge that's going on. It is not too late to invite people to that. I meant to make a post last night. I'll probably do one this morning about people can still pop in there. They might not, they can scroll back up and look at the post or whatever. They can pop in right now. Also, individual events. So asking your wholesalers, hey, I'm helping people go silver this month. I'm hosting events, and I would love to do a little online event for you if this is something that you'd like to do. What are your thoughts? Swing back to those people. Do not assume that because they told you 3 months ago that they wanted to get their own results first, that they're not ready now. Because sometimes it just takes you believing in them. Also, the other thing is reach out about the business, share the business. I was looking at some in the jewel page, someone said, how many jewels do you guys have? People at the emerald and above level do not have massive amounts of jewels. They just don't. A level 1 sponsored jewels. They maybe have 1 or 2. That's the majority. Have 1 or 2. And they have teams based off of that. But Tamara Holloway, who is my Diamond Upline by 2, said that she has not personally sponsored massive amounts of people on her reentry leg, or her husband's, I think it was her husband's Diamond leg. She has not sponsored, but what she has done is she has recruited business builders, and it has not taken as many people, and that's also less work if you sponsor people that want the business. So it's kind of like what we focus on expands. So the more we're focused on, I really want to help people start this for the business. I really want to host some in-person events this summer. I would encourage you. Summer has been my biggest time in Plexus. I think partially because I'm not homeschooling. I mean, I'm still schooling my kids, but that I don't know, pressure is kind of off. So we're doing fun stuff. I have more free time to invest in other people and talk to people. The other thing is, if you have not done in-person events, do some this summer. Do like 2 in a row, Tuesday, Thursday. I know I really launched my business in a big way my first summer. I came back from Shoshanna's health seminar and was like, Justin, I'm hosting something. I don't care if no one comes. I'm going to throw it out there and see what happens. And I hosted 2 fairly back to back, and that was very beneficial. I feel like it's just like people are game for spur of the moment. They're game for coming over. It's nice weather. People are operating at a, higher energy frequency, all those things. And so I feel like it's a great time. I think June is a good month too. So encouragement there. Remember the 90-day rules. In light of what we do today affects what happens in 3 months. So in terms of leaders retreat contests, press in, initiate more conversations, develop friendships, go do stuff, get the kids and go do some mom groups, go to the pool, go meet people. You don't have to be stuck inside on Facebook all the time. So I did want to, let's see, I'll give some homework at the end after we're done chatting, but I'm reading this book called Good Leaders Ask Good Questions. I gifted the Rubies and Above that ranked up in April this book. It was recommended to me actually by Stephanie Watt, who's a new Ruby on Gretchen's team. And I was like, ooh, I like that. I like that title. But I thought it was really interesting. John Maxwell saying that good leaders, successful people ask good questions. And he said that questions are the keys to opening and unlocking doors. And he said, or maybe I'm asking myself, oh yeah, I was writing this down last night. We want more aha moments like we've been having the past 6 weeks. We have to ask ourselves questions and asking ourselves hard questions. What am I overcoming? What am I afraid of? Just because we've asked ourselves these questions the past 6 weeks does not mean you're done asking yourself the questions. You have to continue to ask yourselves, what is my why? What do I want? What is my goal? Why am I not where I want to be? What is that person doing that I'm not doing? That's something I've asked myself a ton. That's why we're a diamond team and not an emerald team, because I started asking myself that question, and I started listening to Brooke Hemingway because she was like at the top of Plexus, and I'm like, what is she doing that I'm not doing? And I started listening to her training, and I saw she's organized. She has a plan for the month for her team, and she hosts events for them. And so that's what I started doing. And it got us out of a rut and propelled us all forward. So am I avoiding or procrastinating on anything? And how bad do I want it? So I thought this was really good. The president of the John Maxwell team once said, all fear stems from either I'm not enough or I don't have enough. Too often, fear keeps us from being vulnerable and feeling secure enough to ask questions. I thought that was really good. Successful leaders relentlessly ask questions and have an incurable desire to pick the brains of the people they meet. So for those of you going to convention, I would highly encourage you to come with a goal to learn and to ask people questions. You see people's name tags that say, whatever rank you want to be at or whatever, ask them questions. Just like, hey, what's your top tip? Hey, what's something that you've learned over the course of your Plexus journey? Have those conversations. You don't have to know them in order to have those conversations. That's how we learn. And that's the beauty of those events, is that you get to be in contact with those so many successful people and just learn and glean from them. So I thought this was really good. He was talking about when he meets people, there's questions that he asks people. And I thought these were good. What is the greatest lesson that you've learned? And by asking this question, I seek their wisdom. What are you learning now? This question allows me to benefit from their passion. How has failure shaped your life? This gives me insight into their attitude. Who do you know that I should know? This allows me to engage with their network. What have you read that I should read? This question directs my personal growth. What have you done that I should do? This helps me seek new experiences. And how can I add value to you? This shows my gratitude and desire to add value to them. And I can screenshot that and put it in our thread also if you didn't catch all those. So I would love to hear from you guys some thoughts, and then I'll pop on so we can just chat for I don't know, 8 minutes or so, and then we'll and then I'll pop on and give some homework at the end. Let me see what you guys said in the chat. One of my girls will be super silver this month. Libby's win is another live split screen. Awesome. And a new ambassador started sharing. Yay. Amber Metter started reaching out more about the business. Suzanne says, my win is that even though me and some family members got sick and it put me behind, I'm committed to continue with this training on my own. Fabulous. Yeah, everything's recorded too if you want to go back and listen to stuff. Just type in Megan Goff Plexus on YouTube and the mindset stuff will come up. Amy loves the sowing and reaping verse in terms of our business. Yes. Natalie says, my wins are that my husband and I had a really good, hard money conversation. I've never had a problem with having money, but definitely has had to have a change of mindset, scarcity mindset. Yeah, I think it's just an awareness. It's interesting how you start to identify things, even in other people, which is interesting. But I guess, yeah, it's definitely good stuff for combos. Okay, who wants to share? You guys can unmute. Share an insight, share a win, share something that you're learning, something that you're implementing.
I'll share something.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So yesterday, I think it was, you posted about, I don't remember how you worded it on one team, but sharing simply. So are we using the third-party tools and, connecting people in a simple way to getting started without making it complicated? And I was doing that for a while and sort of lost my way and started making it complicated. So, I tried to get together with a lady Sunday night after church, and then her grandkids were wanting her and my kid was wanting me, and it just all got complicated. And so yesterday I was like, okay, I made that too complicated. Like, she wants to order Slim. She's interested in Slim. How can I, make this more simple, And so I shared that video that you had posted there from Plexus about the triplex, and it's I don't even think it's 2 minutes long, and it just has such amazing information. Even my little girl, when I was playing it before I sent it, was like, yeah, she's 2. And she's like, yeah, that makes sense, and just like actively engaged. And so just reminding myself that like, it doesn't have to be as complicated. I think I can make it too complicated because I want the personal connection. Like, I want the relationship because I really care. And I think you can still do that, upon ordering and everything. But sometimes I think I make it too complicated before they even get their products, and then they don't get started.
Love that. That's awesome. Yeah. And it's an awareness of, I'm overcomplicating it, and just keeping it simple and using the third-party tools. I'm like, send a video, ask some questions, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'll make a product recommendation for you. Do you have a minute to chat? Or sometimes I'm like, are you just ready to get started? Because Jessica Heffley always says, we can only help them if they get started. And so that's my goal, is to move them through that funnel quickly. Who else has something?
I'll share.
Okay. Hey, Natalie.
I was kind of spurred on again, actually, that Plexus is the best business because a friend of mine wanted to show me what she's doing. It's some kind of life, I don't know, it's a multi-level marketing business, but it's helping people with their finances and then making money on them saving money with how they purchase and just being smart. But anyway, she wanted me to get on a Zoom and took up like an hour to lay out this whole spiel and educate you on stuff. And I was just thinking and she also said she was interested in Plexus, but I think that was just so I would talk to her, listen to her about her spiel. But then at the end, she's like, now tell me about Plexus. And I was like, we've talked about it before. But I said, I really don't have anything else to tell you. If it's something you need, great. But it was just so simple. I don't have a whole half hour, an hour. I'm not going to take up your time. If it's something that you need, then great. If not, like, we're just keeping this simple.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just love Plexus for that it's simple, and it's usually a product that people need. She knows she needs it. She's an RN, and she just fixed somebody's perforated bowel. She's like, I need to have better gut health, but she didn't order, but she might eventually. So anyway, it was just really cool how that spurred me on even more to pursue this more and more.
Yeah. Well, even like for someone like that, I like to follow up with a video, maybe one of even the opportunity video, and just be like, hey, if sometimes when people are wanting to share their thing with you, you can also come back and share what you know and what you have with Plexus with them. Because sometimes if they see like, oh my word, your comp plan is like fabulous, sometimes their eyes will be open, because they think, a lot of people think we make $25 or $50 a month that are cute hobbies, right? So yeah, but you planted seeds, and just the simplicity of Plexus. People don't have to know the comp plan in order to share. I did not understand how I was getting paid until I was maybe Ruby. So it was just not a focus of mine. I was like, get the people healthy. So yeah, I love the simplicity of that. I think it's so valuable also that you guys are sharing, and I think just hearing perspectives is so helpful. Who else?
I'll share. It's Amber. Can you hear me?
Yep.
How are you?
Good.
We are on our, not a vacation, but a trip from Kentucky to Oklahoma. So I'm in a boardroom of a hotel room at the moment.
Oh, fun.
But anyway, I think just looking back over the last few weeks, it's been great. So I love these classes. But some of the things that have stuck with me are like, it's okay to have more money, because it just makes your character, whatever your character is, that much bigger. So if you're a giving person, then we would want giving people to have more money, so they would give more. And I think that also came from that Bob Heilig seminar thing a couple weeks ago. But I just loved that, because it helped me be okay with making money. And then the other thing is just writing it down. And I know you always say, just write it down, like get your team on paper, all of those things. So I did that, and that's so helpful. I did not realize how helpful that would be. And then just one of the things from last week was operate with intention. So instead of me sitting here going, okay, well, this is good information to keep gathering, and then not do anything. So I scheduled it out, and I'm much better when I schedule my week's posts, so I can just free up my brain space. And so that's just something that I've gotten back to. So that makes life a lot easier and less. I feel like my head's just kind of floating out there, and I'm just grabbing things if I don't write it down. So those are just some helpful things that I've learned.
Awesome. I think it's trackable too. Once we write it down, then we're able to track, like, well, how many times did I post about the business last week? Did I? Or whatever, or post about Plexus, or reach out? Did I reach out? Did I do my dough app? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, love that. Who else has some insights to share? Hey, Samuel, can you turn that off? What is that? Alarm clock's going off.
I'll share something. You can hear me okay, right?
Yep.
You talked about being high energy frequency. So what I've started doing more and more when I do reach outs, instead of having that kind of feeling, I don't know if anybody else ever has this of almost dreading reaching out to some people. Instead, I say and I pray, but then I say to myself, I have something really, really good for these people. This is exciting to share this with them. They're going to love it, and then I send it. And I get excited. And as I start to go down my list, I'm getting more and more excited about reaching out to these people. And a lot of my lists lately are people I really don't know. They're friends of friends or whatever, they're new Facebook friends, whatever. But I'm also going back and doing follow-ups on people that I reached out to a long time ago. But just getting that feeling of excitement, and it's like it snowballs.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that would help anybody or not, but it's been helping me. I really like that, the high energy, being high energy frequency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so awesome. I think it ties into faith too. Like when we pray and we're praying in faith, like I know there's a lot of people praying for health answers, praying for financial answers, and who knows, maybe I have the answer for these people. So it's like, it's a faith thing because we don't know who is needing or wanting something and who's not. So yeah. Christine, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I don't have any trouble talking, so I try really hard to keep it brief. But I had a friend recently who, she would have her whole family on Plexus if she could. She's a mama. She has 5 kids. She has grandkids. She had a grandkid who was living off of whatever the medication is that helps them go to the bathroom at night, and it wasn't helping. And she recommended the BioCleanse, and I think he's 4, and he takes 1 a night, and it's completely changed his life. They don't have 30 minutes of crying before bedtime, and even recently they went on like a small trip and the mom forgot it and he had trouble, and she'd forgotten how hard it had been. And so, she wants to help them all, but she also wants to fund them all their stuff. And these are grown adult children who make money and have an income, And so I just said to her, I love your heart and I know you want to help them, but why don't we sit down and talk about how you could save some money doing this, and then she sort of avoided me for 3 days, and I was like, what's up? You're like ghosting me. And she said, but I'm afraid to sell. And I said, I'm not asking you to sell anything. I just want to sit down and have a conversation, So it's like people get ahead of themselves. She's already selling. She already wants to help. She already, her heart is already there. You know what I mean? So it's just like taking that mindset and saying sharing is not, selling is not this scummy word where people are coming to your door and trying to get you to buy a vacuum. You know what I mean? It's okay, So it's hard for me though, because I can get wrapped up in their negative mindset, and then I'm like, oh, maybe she wouldn't be good at selling. I'm not asking her to sell. I could do an event for her and she could be silver and she could have her products paid for, So it's really like not getting wrapped up in their head trash, I guess, is my takeaway from that.
Yeah, I guess I haven't even thought about that, but yeah, that's so true. What I was very much like that in the beginning. I felt a little funny, especially with people that I knew really, really well. I just felt like I should be paying for their stuff because I wanted to and I knew it would help them. But what I found is that people value it more if they have to pay for it. It's like very few and far between where we, sponsor people, which we do, but it's just better. they do it themselves. They invest that in their own health. But yeah, I think that's awesome. I think offering what you're offering, that might be a perfect time to bring up, I could do a little online event for you. It'd be so simple. Natalie says, another win is learning how to ask direct questions and help my people go silver. I have one who's working towards silver. Yeah, I had that epiphany like a year ago. Hello, it's not even part of my system to be asking my wholesalers if they're interested in sharing. How stupid. I know if I would have been asked that in the beginning, I would have shared a lot sooner. It wouldn't have taken me months to go silver. So, okay, well, let's wrap this up. Let's land the plane. So my homework here, and this is voluntary. You don't have to do this, but I would love it if you guys would send me a follow-up email just as a way of processing for yourself and as a way of staying accountable. I would love it if you would email me, kind of like you did in the beginning. Let's email me again, kind of like the end email, wrap up email, just to kind of share your aha moments, your epiphanies, your goals. If you want to share with me your goals, Leaders Retreat goals, or whatever you want to share with me, things that you're overcoming. I would love it if you guys would send me either a Facebook message or an email, either one. Also, I'm going to recommend, well, obviously, finish out Mel's audio. I feel like the last chapter in that book is the best because she's counseling us. She's coaching us as individuals. And so it's kind of one of those things, kind of like this mindset thing or convention or anything. If we walk away and don't implement what we're learning, we haven't learned. It's not true learning until we've implemented. But one of the things that I have really found value in is the Enneagram. And specifically this book, Amy Booker recommended it. It's called The Road Back to You. It's another level of self-awareness. So it's not necessarily coming from the fear part, but almost more of like how God made each of us and how God individually made you and me, and recognizing our strengths, recognizing our tendencies, the things that we excel at, the things that are hard for us. The more aware that we are of our own selves, the better we're going to be at connecting with people, the better parents we're going to be, the better Plexus ambassadors will be, because we have that awareness. And it's not like, I'm not into putting people in boxes or anything like that, but it was very, very helpful and insightful to me. But I do recommend taking the $12 Enneagram test. And if you do that test, message me your numbers, message or screenshot your results, or forward it to me in an email. I would love to know that about you guys. And this book has been, like, the $12 test was helpful, but this really helped me like understand each of the numbers better. And then there's a pastor from Sandals Church who's on YouTube, and he preaches a message through each of the Enneagram numbers. So it's kind of another level of learning that. So if you have bandwidth this summer to dive into more personal growth stuff, I would highly recommend studying the Enneagram. It was brought to me about a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago, I can't remember. But I wasn't in the place in my brain to even give that time. But I recently picked it up this past winter, and just learned it, just learned more about it. I knew what my numbers were, but I didn't really have application of what that actually meant. And so I have found it really valuable, so I wanted to pass it along to you. I'll put that homework in the thread. Those of you who are willing to kind of wrap up this thing, and I will also put an audio about Not Being the Expert by Bob Heilig. It's just a good reminder. So I'll put that in there as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you. Amy said yes. Just go to YouTube and type in Sandals Church Enneagram. It is so helpful. Good for marriage. Yes. Good for understanding your spouse and your kids. So yes, vision boarding, that's what Christine's talking about. So yes, all the things. So I will put that homework in the thread. You guys have a fabulous day. Cannot wait for convention. I do want to remind you, make sure that you have connection cards, and make sure that you are networking with people. A lot of times people come to convention, or they go to Maui, they go on the trips, and they're not connecting with people. And this is like the best time to get out of your circle, to meet new people, to friend them on Facebook or Instagram, and make it happen. Okay, my brother's coming in. I'm going to let you all go. See you guys. Hello. Are you going to go on a run?